Hi friends and people watching. This is not a normal video that I usually post on my channel. For those of you that know me from dog training, probably don't know that my favorite hobby outside of that is diamond painting. And there has been a rash of this problem with these sticky diamonds. You can tell they're in this container and it's a mess. I even have dryer sheet in here because I was under the impression this was static, and it's not static. They're greasy, they're oily, they're sticky, they're just nasty. And the problem is I have a ton of them. These are all the ones I haven't cleaned. So I've got little ones and I've got big ones. So these two are the same color, and then this one. So I've seen some of the videos on how to do this. Problem is I don't actually own a fine colander, and when I went out to get one, I couldn't find one. They were all the holes were big enough that these were going to fall through. So I had to get a little creative, and I actually came up with two solutions that I'm going to share with you guys in just a second. So I already cleaned these with the method I came up with. You can see the comparison, nice and loose, super gunky. So these were exactly like these before I tried this, and the same with this one. So now they're all fixed. Cool thing is I didn't clean the containers. I was curious to see if any oil, excuse my dogs, if any oil would be stuck to the container and would like remake the beads and the drills yucky, but they don't seem to. Like this, what's sticking here is normal for these containers. So I don't know. We're gonna see how that goes. But anyway, so my ingenuity consists of a cheap French press and, sorry guys, it's hard to do everything one-handed. So a simple French press. And you can get these super duper duper cheap. I think this is like a $5 French press. It's plastic. It's not glass. But it's got all the screens and stuff. I'll show you in a minute how I use that. And that's what I use for the big containers like this, where these two I can actually wash together. So this is really good, and again, really cheap part. It's not messy. I'll show you how I use this. I actually use this in conjunction with this. This is the only thing I did find at the store. This is a reusable coffee cone, and I really love this actually for drying my ones, because I found trying to pour them out on paper towel was a disaster. They were going everywhere, and I was losing drills that I might need. So I found this a much better way to dry them, and I'll talk about that at the end. And what I've been using for the little containers, this I'm ecstatic about. When I watched the colander videos, I was thinking about T-balls. And I thought, would a T-ball work? Well, when I went to the store to find something, I found this cool thing. So this is a T-ball like infuser combo. And it's got this little plunger. I'll show you. Here we go. So as you can see, it's got the screen and it's got these tiny holes so nothing can fall through. And it's got this plunger. And this is really handy, and I'll show you in my video why this cleans these in no time flat and dries them and makes it super easy. And then literally I dump this on a dryer sheet just to make sure there's no static and pour it right back in here. So this was the craziest, easiest solution, especially for the ones that are like between 1 and like 4 packs can fit in this at any given time. So, all right, I'll show you that stuff in a second. All right, I have knocking things over. Got all my supplies set out. I'm not doing this in the kitchen. You absolutely can do this in the kitchen. I'm just not doing this in the kitchen because it's a very tight space. But yeah, I've got everything set out. This goes with this. That water goes with this. Soap. This happens to be what I have, and it's worked. And my drills. So I'm going to clean my next largest thing of drills. So first things first is I'm going to get the drills in here. Okay, so all the drills are in there. I stopped recording just because it's so hard to get them when they're sticky out of these containers. I love these containers, but whatever this oily sticky gunk is that's on them, like these are residue on your fingers. And I mean, they clump together and they also stick really, really hard to the sides of any storage container. So there they are. And you can tell, like, they don't move right. They're still all yucky. Anyway, So I'm just going to add, and don't add a tremendous amount. Like I see people put a ton of detergent, and you don't need to. In fact, I think it actually is detrimental. Just a little bit. And then I'm going to add, let's see if I can do this without making a mess. Add the water. There we go. Let's see how full it is. Nope, not even close. Now just know that this French press is used for coffee, and that has had no adverse effects on the drills. You just might see some coffee color residue. That's not the drills. Okay, we're almost halfway. I want to only fill it about halfway. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. And then what we're going to do, I can always add more water out later, is I'm going to reinsert the plunger. Now, the reason this is so handy is because the plunger, as long as you don't break the seal by like lifting and twisting it, it will keep the drills at the bottom and the water at the top. Or at least when you raise it, it'll keep the water at the top. So I'm just going to push into it. There we go. And again, the cool thing is that even when it's full, I can take the cover off this and show you. Even when it's got that many drills in it, there's a gap. You just can't tell. Hang on one second. Let me take the cover off. There we go. You don't even need the cover. I just had it on there for storage and convenience. And so there's a little bit of bubbles trapped under there. That's normal. Won't hurt anything. If you move it, the bubbles come out. But anyway, the reason that this is so handy is that when you lift and push on the plunger, it agitates the drills and it washes them. It really is that simple. So I don't have to get my fingers wet. I don't have to rub on a colander. I don't have to get gunk all over my fingers. I legitimately am just sitting here, lifting and pushing down the plunger. Now, part of the reason, and you can see the soap suds accumulating, so the soap's doing its job. So it's really clean. Like you said, I'm not doing this in my kitchen. Now I will, I have a basin here to pour out the water. I will do a couple of washes this way. Oh, well, let's get that back in. Let's see. Touch something and now it doesn't want to be. There we go, in focus. There we go. There we go. When I pour it out, all I do is push the plunger all the way down to the bottom. Just like that. And then I twist. This one's got a little guard. So just in case any drills somehow magically did get above, I twist it so there's a guard in the way of the pour. I'm going to pour out the water. When I'm done with that, I'm going to raise this up a little bit, raise the lid, and I'm going to add more water. And I'm going to repeat, usually about 3 times. So yeah, so let me go about this process. Yep, just like that. Nice agitated drills. And then I will show you what I do next. Okay, so I've done 3 water changes, and you can see the drills are nice and clean, the water's nice and clean, there's no bubbles forming. So that tells me the soap's all gone. Oh, there's a mystery black drill in there. Don't you love when that happens? So, even if you see a little bit of clumping, don't panic. That can be also from the water, not necessarily from the grease and oil that was in there before. So the next step is to get the drills from that container into my little drying cone. So I'm going to use a basin for this, just because I'm not in my kitchen. And I'm going to need both hands for this, so I'm just going to show you the before and the after. So you see it in here. I'm going to pull this out, the plunger, the whole top, and I'm legit just going to pour it in here. And then I may add a little bit more water, swish it around, pour it in here again until everything's in here. And then I'll show you the end result. And that's that. So it took me 3 little swishes and pours. You know, I just added water. There's only 1 drill left in the container, and I can fish that out. And then here's everything sitting in this cute little cloth colander. So what I'm going to do, let's see if I can do this primarily one-handed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach down and I'm just going to smush it. And they're going to look sticky. And I panicked when this happened last time because I was like, oh no, they're still sticky, they're still dirty. They aren't. They're sticky because they're wet. That's the only reason it looks that way. But I'm still rubbing them together just to agitate them and make sure that, you know, everything, if there is any oil, is evenly distributed amongst everything. The cool thing is that the type of cone this is, it seems to wick out moisture and anything attached to that moisture. So if there is any oil, it's probably going to get pulled out. So, all right. So there they are. And like I said, they're going to look clumpy. But this thing dries really fast. And again, I liked this better than putting it out on paper towels because I've got dogs, I've got a clumsy husband, I'm a clumsy wife, so it's just a disaster waiting to happen if I try and put them on paper towels. And I don't own a dehydrator. And frankly, I think that's just another step I don't have time to monitor. So I just very easily, you know, once I've squeezed it, most of the liquid's out, I just hang this on like a shelf. Like I use a book to like hold down the handle. And I left this yesterday for, I was gone about 5 hours. So I don't know yet exactly. I'll try and put in the comments exactly how long it took to dry because I'll be around today to check. But I mean, the cloth is already starting to dry at the top. Up here's dry, even though this whole thing got like soaked when I was taking care of it. So yeah, I think this was a really great, I think this cost me $1.50 for this reusable thing. So crazy cheap investment. All right, let me show you the other one because I'm really excited about that one. Okay, so I showed you this at the beginning. And this cost me a whole $5, I think, which frankly, I think it's probably absurd if the other thing was $1, but whatever. I mean, it's molded plastic, so I guess it's okay. So again, this is an infuser, and I think you could probably get away with the same effect with a T-ball. You just have to shake it. This one you don't. But again, super tiny holes. I mean, in comparison to a drill's not getting out of there. And at first I was really worried about what happens if the drills get behind the plunger. It is not a problem. I'll show you in a minute. So let me load this, and then I'll show you what we're going to do. All right, so I've poured them in. Again, they came from this container. That's their number if you're curious. And, sorry, my dog's very excited by stuff going on outside. So don't worry if one escapes behind the plunger. I'm actually, oh yeah, there's kind of one back there. Because it does not matter. So we close it up, snap it, and any type of T-ball will be the same way. You'd secure it. And then I've got a glass, I got a mason jar here, and I have that because I like to see what's going on. I'm just going to add a little bit of soap. Again, don't go crazy with the soap. I think it is a hindrance after a while. And I'm going to insert. And you can, what's really cool about this one is you can see the drills because of like the light and the mesh, and so you can see them in there. And I'm just going to do the same thing I did with the French press. And I just sit here for a few minutes and agitate. Sorry about that, guys. My phone died while I was taping. Anyway, so the simple agitation of doing this should build up the bubbles in your glass or container, or whatever you're doing this in. If it doesn't, you can just stir a little bit, and that'll totally do it too. But, I mean, the bubbles are there to sort of show you that the soap has been aerated, not that, you know, how well it's working down here. It's working down here fine, even if you don't have a bajillion bubbles up there. So, but you can see the bubbles that are given off just from agitating this. So, again, okay. Now, I do this for about 2 or 3 minutes, not terribly long. I'm probably even over-exaggerating that. But again, since I can do it with one hand, it's not a big deal. And they're getting super agitated, probably more so than with the French press. But once I'm done, I'm just going to pull it out. I'm going to change the water to just clean, non-soapy water. And I'm going to repeat. So let me do that. I'll be right back. Okay, home stretch. So it's super clean water now. Note that I don't wash this under the faucet. I'm paranoid that somehow it's going to open up and everything's going to go flying. Part of the reason I wasn't super psyched about using the colander, just because I'm clumsy and stupid things can happen. So, same thing. We're just washing the soap off the drills. You know, I want to do an experiment at some point to see even if washing the soap off the drills is really that necessary, because I don't think it would inhibit the stick, but that's not today's experiment. All right. I don't do that a super long time because I'm just trying to rinse off the soap, and I don't think it takes that long. All right, the drills are in there, as we can see. There they are. And of course, they're all clumped together because they're wet. And then you can put it on a paper towel if you want. I'm just doing that briefly. I was actually going to use the towel to also clean off the table. So I tap it because there's a lot of liquid trapped in there. And the other thing I do is I like fling it just to get the water out of it. I'm not going to do that here for you right now, but that's another thing that I do to just try and get the water out. But right now just tapping it works fine. But yeah, I'll just fling it and get the water out. I just want to make sure what's in the vicinity before I do that. And then I just, again, put this on a shelf, ideally with this sticking out just so the air flows through both sides. And this thing dries super fast. I'll put in the notes exactly how long it took this one to dry, but I anticipate this is going to be dry within an hour. And then I'll repeat since I've still got way too many of these still to go. But again, super duper easy to clean. And then I'll have this one still to do. But again, that shouldn't take me very long, and then it can just sit. And then all my gunky drills will be clean. I'm going to go through my drill boxes and see if there's any others that are slightly gunky. I was pretty sure when I was unpacking them, there might have been some. They're just not always really distinct. Like you can see, when it's bad, they just stick. And again, I tried to fix this with a dryer sheet actually left in here. Because if I figure if they're static cling, the dryer sheet will fix it, right? But they're not. They're greasy, they're oily. And for those that have been asking on other people's channels where they're getting their kits, I'm getting my kits from a dozen different vendors. I have not done an AliExpress order yet. I will in the future, but mine are coming from like Amazon vendors and some American vendors. So the Amazon vendors, I think, are the primary ones I'm having this problem with, but even, I would say all of them but one I've had some. I got one on Amazon, which was a, what is it, Paint with Diamonds, that big company. Their kit didn't have any gunky diamonds in that one kit. A different kit I have by them did have gunky diamonds, and I have a few other ones, again, that have also produced gunky diamonds, but not to this degree. This latest kit is the worst one yet. Problems are, is I buy my kits way in advance, because we all know how long they take to ship. And then I don't get to them. I think I received this kit 6 months ago. So that being the case, I'm really not in the mood to contact the vendor and say, hi, I finally opened my purchase and I have a problem. And I know I could have gone through the diamonds as soon as it arrived, like a lot of people do. Problem is I run 3 businesses and that's just not realistic. So that's why I came up with this, to fix the problem versus try and fight with the vendor. But just be aware, guys, this is something that's definitely going on. I don't know if the problem's going to improve or get worse, obviously, but at least we have some solutions. And I mean, this one is my favorite solution because, oh my gosh, it's so easy and it's fixed so fast. I just wish there was an easier solution to getting them out of the plastic bags, because that was murder. Especially the big containers of them, like this one. I think this one was like 30-something packets of sticky diamonds. And that was hella frustrating. But hey, at least we have solutions, guys. Anyway, this is like my first general public video that didn't have a dog training theme. So if you liked it and you like me just making random videos, I will. You know, I'll just make sure in the titles that the people who don't care about the random stuff I do don't need to watch it. But certainly, for all my diamond painting friends, I hope this helped. And, you know, tell me about your results. Thanks. See y'all soon.